I'm Zaldeus from Stellenbosch, South Africa, and this is my real story of how God helped me to walk closer with Him. When I was a teenager, the Lord helped me to accept Jesus as my Savior, and I started my walk with Him. At that stage, I was very cautious not to commit too much, because I had this thought that the Lord will take away a lot of fun. I had a lot of ups and downs. Sometimes I really felt close to the Lord, and then other times I got very selfish. I decided I just had enough. I bowed on my knees and I said, Lord, please help me from this day onwards to be a committed child of yours. He started to wake me up early in the morning. It was hard at first for me to get up, but later I got up and I just chatted with him. I really enjoyed it. It increased my peace. I wanted to spend more time in his word. That changed my life in all aspects. A lot of adventures followed that I could just see his greatness, his faithfulness, how valid his word is. A few years ago, after visiting some family, as we arrived at our home, we saw all the garage doors were open. So I immediately realized that burglars broke into our home. I dropped my wife and daughters at our neighbors. As I entered the house, a lot of stuff was lying around. I started to tidy up. I actually laughed because almost in each and every room, whatever I picked up related to Christ, there were verses, spiritual books and Bibles, even a cross here and there. And I thought, whomever broke into our home must probably think I'm a pastor. I cleaned up and then went to fetch my family. My wife and kids were frightened, so all four of us slept in the main bedroom that evening. I could really see that they have questions. I was very concerned about their faith in God being weakened by what happened. God made me very calm. He convinced me that Romans 8:28, that everything will work to our benefit. So I was okay, but I went to God and I pleaded with Him. I know you had a good reason why you allowed this. Would you please reveal to us the reason? 2 days passed and I was at work. Police officer with a man and a photographer arrived at our home, and I asked my wife if they could go to the backyard, and my wife listened to this man telling the police where they broke in, and she was puzzled. So she walked up to the man and she asked him, "Sir, would you mind to tell me, how does it work that you broke into our home 2 days ago and now you're working with the police?" He said, "Ma'am, I accepted Christ a few years ago, but I went astray. And the moment when I walked into your house, I just had one desire, and that is to recommit to Christ. So I surrendered to the police." And immediately my wife knew why the Lord allowed him to break in, and she was thrilled, and she shared that with our daughters, and they were thrilled. When I came home, they were also excited to tell me the news. And that evening, when we had our family silent time, I heard my one daughter praying.
Thank you, Lord, that you love a lost son so much that you send him into our home so that he can be saved again.
And the other one prayed and said,
Thank you, Lord, that the soul is more valuable to you than $1 million.
I was so thankful that the Lord allowed that man to break into our home. He made a lot of trouble in my life to walk closer with Him.